Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 9 at the Spa on Friday is the $750,000 Saratoga Oaks Invitational. We're going 1.316 miles on the turf for 3-year-olds. It's one of 3 stakes races at Saratoga on Friday. Please bet them with the DRF Bets account. Sign up using the promo code HELLO. You will be rewarded with some nice offers. Here's the field for the Saratoga Oaks. A little disappointed they only got 6 in here, Mike. And Concrete Rose, the winner of the Belmont Oaks, the winner of the Edgewood, the winner of the Florida Oaks. Heck, she's just the leader of the division. She's going to be real tough to beat in here.
Yeah, she is. I mean, I don't know where everybody is. There's a lot of money for nobody to show up to run for it. But she shows up. She's made very few mistakes in her career. You know, going back to the Belmont Oaks last time, Dan, I mean, it felt like a situation where, you know, she made a lot of sense in there, but I think you had to worry about the distance with her. That felt like a better field than this one. And you know what? She got a great trip, but she handled the distance just fine. She was way the best in there. This race does not look as tough to me. She's going to be very, very hard to beat, I think.
She's going to be very hard to beat. I agree with that 1,000%. And the trip in the Belmont Oaks was soft. She was tracking that Japanese invader who was just overmatched. And when Julian pushed the button, Concrete Rose made the lead, and she was running at the end. It looked like she had a lot left at the end of that 1.25 miles. And because of this tactical speed, it gives her a double edge, as we see from the Timeform US Pace Projector. It's one of those gray bar situations. It's one of the new Timeform US color codes, which means no speed whatsoever. We know Concrete Rose can be close. Julian, one of the best speed riders out there. Concrete Rose gets to the lead and backs this thing down to a 50. I don't know how they're catching her.
Yeah, I don't know how they are either. And you know what? I can't really argue with the pace projector in this scenario either. I mean, I don't see where the speed's going to come from. You know, Concrete Rose doesn't have to go right to the front, but she's going to be sitting right up there, and that just makes her double tough.
Aidan O'Brien sends 2 in here. We'll start with the number 2, Happen. Ryan Moore will not ride. Wayne Lorden will take over the mount on Happen, who was a Group 3 winner, 2 starts back, going 7 furlongs. Last time out, they tried a very tough spot in the Coronation Stakes, and I don't think she was really embarrassed in that race. I thought she ran okay. They're stretching her out for the first time here, and maybe that's what she's been waiting for.
Man, she got a lot of distance pedigree on the dam side, so I don't think the longer distance is supposed to hurt her. As a matter of fact, I think it could really help her. You know, we'll see what happens. She's very lightly raced. I think she has a lot of upside. Her win 2 back, I thought that was a pretty impressive one. She had a lot of ground to make up at the end of that race, and she erased a pretty big deficit to get there. You know, they tried the Coronation last time. She was really no factor. She passed a couple of horses at the end of the race. I don't like her running style that much. It seems like she doesn't have any early speed at all, but I think she's going to run okay in this race.
Her stablemate Coral Beach is also a Group 3 winner. This one ran in the Belmont Oaks, and she had a little bit of trouble. Do you really think the trouble cost her a placing?
I think that's pretty hard to say. I don't think that it did. But boy, if anybody was affected early in that race, it was her. She steadied and checked 2 or 3 times. Newspaper of Record basically wiped her out when they turned into the backstretch, and she lost a lot of position. It wasn't an ideal trip, that's for sure. The problem is she's run a million times, and she's just not that good. As soon as they left the Belmont Oaks, 12 days later, she's running again, or 15 days later, and now she's running back on 12 days, shipping across the country again. I don't know, Dan. She's not for me.
And she doesn't have a lot of early speed either, so it's not like she can push the pace. Johnny Velazquez takes over for Lorden on Coral Beach. It appears Lorden prefers the other one. And again, you're right. She seems kind of exposed after 18 lifetime starts. Let's talk about Chad Brown's entrant, the number 1 Olindon. This horse ran in the Belmont Oaks. I don't think she really fired that day. There was a little bit of, nonsense going on at the back of the pack going into the first turn where a couple of horses, were floated out. I don't really think Olindon was affected that much. I liked her race 2 starts back in the Group 1. I thought she got a pretty nice trip, but, she ran a good second behind Ciara Fina, who's a good horse. But Olindon just doesn't have any speed. Maybe the blinkers can get her into the race earlier. Boy, it's going to be tough to discount Chad in a $750,000 race for 3-year-old fillies. This horse will be a playable price.
Yeah, I think she's going to run better this time than she did in the Belmont Oaks. She really was heading the right way as a 3-year-old. Her first 3 starts back up to life. I thought she ran well in all of them. And I actually liked her last time in the Belmont Oaks. I thought that was a good spot for her. Johnny gave her, I thought, a really good trip. He had her in position right in behind the leaders around the second turn. They came into the stretch, and she did bump a couple of times with Cambier Park. They were sort of knocking against each other. And then this filly just came up completely empty and didn't run at all. It was pretty disappointing, actually. Trainer change, Lasix, blinker. She has the rail again. She can get a good trip in this race. I think she'll run better. She's got a big deficit to make up on Concrete Rose, though.
Kelsey's Cross has a lot of upside. The connections obviously think a lot of her. In only start number 3, they ran her in the Grade 3 Wonder again against Newspaper of Record in Cambier Park. The dynamic duo from Chad, she was not embarrassed last time out in the Martha Washington. What did you think of that race? You know, a lot of folks thought she was the horse to beat going in.
Yeah, well, she probably was. You know, I think it's hard to make a big excuse for her because she got a good trip. She took over in the stretch, and she got run down late. It's not a great loss for her. I don't think she ran poorly at all, though. Her Wonder, again, I thought was pretty good. She bobbled pretty bad at the start. She was last. They were not going a good pace in front of her, and she was only third best in there. I still think she has upside down. I think she can do better. I just don't know if she's good enough to win a race like this.
I think there is a race for the 6, Her Royal Highness. I'm not sure it's this race. Then again, maybe I've just been wrong chasing her since the Florida Oaks. I just thought she had a bad trip in the Florida Oaks. She was shuffled all the way back to the trailing flight, then had to angle 6 wide in the upper stretch. But that was kind of a weird race where, you know, they were kind of just all bunched up together at the end, and I guess there were a few trips. I couldn't find an excuse in the Memories of Silver where she stalked outside, tried to come after those horses and couldn't do it, tried to find an excuse in a couple of other races. There's a race for her, but I don't think it's this one.
Yeah, I wonder too. I agree with you, though. I think there is a race for her. I don't know if it's this one either. Yeah, her last 2 races at Monmouth, I think, are both pretty good. She maybe could have won that Boiling Springs too bad. Yeah. She didn't get the clean run that Beautiful Lover did into a really fast pace, and I think it cost her. But other than that, you know, I don't know that she really has that race that has Concrete Rose quaking in her boots. I just don't think she's good enough to beat that horse at this point. We'll see if she can improve.
Let's take a look at our top selection for the Saratoga Oaks. No surprise in here. We think if Concrete Rose gets to the lead and settles down and doesn't get a little crazy or rank, she's going to be real tough to catch. The question is for us, who's going to run second? I think it will happen, the number 2.
Yeah, that's the same way I picked it too, Dan. I couldn't go against Concrete Rose in here. I went 5-2-1. I think if she loses, one of the horses down to the inside probably beats her.
5-2-1 for me as well in the $750,000 Saratoga Oaks, one of 3 stakes races at the Spa on Friday. Play them with the DRF Bets account. Sign up using the promo code HELLO. Approximate post time for the Saratoga Oaks, 5:51 Eastern. Good luck.